And the NYPD looking for the suspects in nearly 24 recent robberies in Manhattan. They say they ride up to their victims on a moped and they snatch their purses. Good day wake up anchor Dan Bowens on the Upper East Side with more. Dan, we've been talking about illegal mopeds, illegal e-bikes, and just how not only is it being used for violence and robbery, but you know, they're running into people, hurting people. I mean, it's never ending in New York City on the streets.
It's such a big issue, no doubt about it. I was just speaking to a lieutenant here outside the 19th precinct. He said, yeah, this is right on the pulse of the problems of the city here. It's hard enough walking around in New York City trying to avoid one of those mopeds and e-bikes. They're everywhere. They're surging on the streets. And now we have reports about these crimes. People riding on these mopeds, walking up to victims, often female victims, and snatching purses, snatching headphones, snatching necklaces, all these types of things. We're focusing on a few cases here in the 19, the 19th precinct, the Upper East Side, but really there are cases all throughout the city. We're going to get to some of those in just a minute. First, though, let's look at some of this information the NYPD put out just overnight. Police are searching for the men they say are involved in a series of robberies in Manhattan. We have some images here. There have been 22 incidents since the start of this month, with the latest robbery taking place this past Sunday. The victims were all women. Police say the suspects would approach them on a moped and snatch their purses and then just ride off. In most of the cases, there were no or minor injuries. And now we have another set of incidents that we're looking at as well. Also in Manhattan, we're following these cases from earlier in the month and also in late September. A totally different set of suspects here. So different guys altogether, wanted in 3 separate crimes stretching from Upper Manhattan to the Lower East Side. In each case here, the individual rolls up on a victim while riding a moped and appears to be targeting people wearing expensive headphones, those Beats headphones, those nicer headphones costing $300–500 in those range. No one was hurt, but several victims certainly left aggravated, terrified, and frustrated. Now we're heading out to Queens. We have another one. This time on September 14th, another group of criminals, totally separate suspects using similar methods. There are 2 cases here, one in Richmond Hill and the other in Glendale. 2 unidentified people on a scooter rolling up on others, snatching necklaces, 2 female victims. The suspects were both said to be in their 20s, still not located, still under investigation. And we're heading now into Brooklyn, East New York, and Bushwick. 3 different cases, a new set of suspects. All the victims here also female. The pattern very similar. Guys on mopeds snatching chains, creating a sense of vulnerability and fear for people who are really just walking down the street, minding their own business. Finally, we have a case in Fordham Heights, that section of the Bronx. Someone who was just walking down the street had their necklace stolen, a necklace thought to be worth at least $9,000. Rosanna, you hit on it. Often these mopeds, these scooters, these bikes, they don't have any identification. They don't have any licenses. That's just the way it is. That's the way some of those rules have been set up, and we've seen these bikes everywhere, certainly for a lot of good reasons, people getting from here to there, those deliveries. But recently we've seen some of these cases, and the NYPD asking anyone if they have information, as we've said for years, do the right thing. Call Crime Stoppers. That number, 1-800-577-TIPS, if you don't already know it. Rosanna, back inside you.
There you go, Dan. Be careful. You know, as you know, Good Day New York has taken up this whole e-bike, moped, craziness on the streets. The legislators in Albany are considering new bills that would license them, so that you have some kind of recourse. I mean, people have been hit by them, let alone had their chain ripped off their necks or bags taken away from them. But, you know, I don't know about you, Dan. Obviously, it's a pressing problem to people who live here in New York, but Albany said maybe they'll take it up in January or so.
It's one of those issues where it seems like you need a baseline, somewhere to start. It can't just have the streets just out everywhere, people doing whatever they want. You have to have some way to track people if they're going to be riding around, and certainly if they are causing problems. If they have a license plate, you have cameras everywhere. It makes it a lot easier to track people down when you just have others who are doing these kinds of things, not just in Manhattan, not just in the Bronx, but Brooklyn, all across the city. We've seen some of these incidents.
Yeah, and the city council, by the way, contributed to part of the chaos.